Now, some of you seem surprised that Prismatic Evolutions is getting another reprint. Pokemon just announced it this week. It's going crazy. Everybody's buying up all the product. They can't get enough out there. The reason why they've announced this reprint, guys, is because they've had to announce it to you because you've all been just way too crazy about this set. They've reprinted literally every set for the last 25 years. There hasn't been a single set that's only received one print, as far as I'm aware, or at least one wave. Maybe Shrouded Fable. But yeah, obviously there's a reprint coming, guys. We've got a reprint coming. It'll probably be in the next few months. It's going to be a little while. Obviously, there's still going to be printing journeys together as well. So I wouldn't expect the reprint to be huge. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and all the forums and all that sort of stuff talking about how the prices are going to crash and prices are crashing, blah 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 blah. Have seen a few people dropping their ETB prices down to the 40-50 pound range, amazingly. Yeah, I'm not really too sure what's happened there. I'm not even sure if they were actually fake images trying to get people to crash their prices. But yeah, it's not going to touch the price at all, guys. It may reduce a little bit once the set actually drops, but just like this drop has, and this has been the biggest wave that you will get. The first print is always the biggest wave, and all the stock's been eaten up immediately. So once a wave 2 drops, it's not really going to change the price too much. My advice is if you're trying to get into this set, get into it now. This is probably the cheapest it's ever going to be. Even though the Elite Trainer boxes are up at like 75-80 pound a box, this is still probably the cheapest that they're going to be, unless you're lucky enough to find them MSRP at your Costco's, at your Smiths, or anything like that. But yeah, price won't change, guys. Sorry to say, it is what it is. Once the prices hit that level, it's very, very rarely going to come down again unless there's a massive reprint and there's the demand isn't going to be enough. But as you've even seen with 151, multiple reprints over the last year or so, and it just hasn't touched the price. In fact, now that it's fully out of print, booster bundles are at like 90 quid or something like that. Packs are at like, I don't know, what, 20 quid a pack, or 15, 20 quid a pack, something like that. Absolutely mental prices. Another thing to be taken note of, I've been looking at the early singles prices for Prismatic Evolutions, and there's been some pretty crazy pricing. And the reason why I want to mention it, I wouldn't usually sort of touch on early singles pricing. Usually singles come out of the gate really, really high. People, for some reason, buy those, and then the prices come down as more of that product hits the market. The problem is, a lot of people are going to be chasing those big cards. A lot of the Umbreons, the EVs, and all the Evolutions, a lot of people are going to be chasing those. So that means less of them are going to be hitting the market. In addition to that as well, the pull rates seem to be really, really, really poor so far, looking at the Elite Trainer boxes. So if the pull rates are bad and people want to keep the cards that they pull, that means even less are going to be hitting the market. So it'd be interesting to see what happens to some of these single prices. I've seen things like Slowpoke Pokeball selling for like 50 quid and things like that. I see a couple of EVs, EV Pokeballs sell for like £6-7, but those are straight back on eBay now at minimum like £40-50. So that's just of this morning. So obviously now that there's more stock going out there, more cards getting opened, I'm expecting more cards to start hitting the market now. And there may be a little bit of a drop in price and stuff like that. But it'd be interesting to see where those Evolution Pokeballs actually end up. I think very, very largely the Master Balls are going to be out of reach for most people's budgets. So I think the next step, therefore, is going to be looking for those Pokeballs. Now, as the majority of people can't afford, £1,000 for a Master Ball, they're going to be looking at the Pokeballs. That means there's going to be more people looking at the Pokeballs, which could mean that the Pokeball prices will start to go up. The Umbreon Master Ball did see one sell and whatnot for $1,900, I think it was. I think that's a bit of a crazy price. I think probably there was maybe a little bit of manipulation going in there. Don't know if it got paid, don't know if it got shipped. But the Umbreon Pokeball, I think, is going to be something to be looking out for. I personally, I think if you can find them for under 100 quid, that'll probably be a good buy if you want to get one for your collection. Because I think those are going to start going up. Once the Master Ball reaches a really, really unachievable dollar amount, then people are going to be looking at those Pokeballs. And I think the vast majority of collectors, unless they're lucky enough to pull a Master Ball, they're going to basically be trying to get a Pokeball, aren't they? So yeah, expect to see some pretty decent pricing on those, I think, especially for all of the Evolutions. It'd be interesting to see what happens to the cards that aren't so important. I mean, there's quite a lot of trainers in there as well. Those are probably not going to be worth a great deal amount. But there's some other decent Pokemon in there as well to keep the Pokeballs afloat, hopefully. So anyway, yeah, there's a reprint coming. Don't be surprised. Every set's been reprinted since the inception of TCGs. It's not going to touch the prices, so don't get your hopes up too much, or definitely don't hold back. If you think that you're going to hold back and wait for a cheaper price, I don't know what to say to you. I think you might be disappointed unless you catch one of those like restocks at a big box store like Smiths or whoever gets them, Tesco's, Costco's, whatever. Unless you catch one of those restocks, you're probably not going to be able to get it at MSRP. Once the second wave comes out as well, distributors drop off the discounts and raise the prices, so it's expensive. It's more expensive for us as well. So the margins get smaller at MSRP, so therefore the price unfortunately has to go up. That's kind of the way things are. I think there's a lot of talk at the moment about let's reprint it to the ground and get these scalpers out of the hobby. And I think there's a lot of misinformation going around at the moment, guys. There is a little bit of scalping going on, of course. They'll always get that. But what you've got to realise is that this set has been so big for everybody that's involved in the TCG or even the Pokemon community. You think back to yourself, how many Elite Trainer boxes did you order from the last 3 sets? How many did you order from Shrouded Fable? How many of those collection boxes did you get? Did you get a sticker pack? Did you get the collection boxes? Did you get the did you go all in for a Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box as well? And these are the things that you've got to think of. If you didn't go for them for that, but you did for Prismatic Evolutions, you went for 3 sticker packs, you wanted the Elite Trainer boxes, you got 3 of those because it's such a good set. You wanted all the collection boxes, you want the booster box, you want everything. And as a result, you've now increased the amount of the things that you're buying. You have personally reduced the supply because you're buying more of it. That's just the way that it is. You get a popular set, lots of people want to buy it, they buy more than they usually would. That's just the way it is. It's not necessarily scalpers or people trying to put the prices up. There's a lot of vitriol against stores at the moment for increasing their prices and putting their prices above MSRP. It's a really it's a really tough subject to kind of dance around. I think a business's job is obviously to make money. The best business is to sell it for the highest price that you can get it for. But one thing that you've got to realise, guys, is that all of the people that are complaining that Prismatic Evolutions isn't at MSRP are the same people that didn't buy Shrouded Fables at £50 for an Elite Trainer box. They didn't pay $140 for an Obsidian Flames booster box when it came out. They didn't pay $140 for a Scarlet and Violet base set booster box when it came out. Paldea Evolved, people wouldn't even pay £100 for Paldea Evolved when it comes out. Now look at the price of it. Everybody wants Paldea Evolved, and then now they're sad that it's not MSRP or below. And we need another reprint of Paldea Evolved. We don't need another reprint of Paldea Evolved. That set's long gone now. People didn't want it when it came out. It's not coming back. That's the way it is. So you need to realise, guys, that people only want MSRP when it's in their favour. I wanted MSRP when Shrouded Fable came out, but do you think I was going to get £50 for an Elite Trainer box even on release day? It's just not happening. So am I making loads of tweets and videos about how I'm being scammed by the community because they'll only give me £35 for an Elite Trainer box that's just come out instead of the £50 RRP that's on the price tag? No, that's just the way that the system is. People cry about it, and stores cry about it as well when there's no money to be made in it. When people are shipping out booster boxes, making a £5, one goes missing, so they have to refund £100. That's £20. That's 20 booster boxes worth of profit. It's crazy. So you have to take these sorts of things into account. You have to not be so emotional about it. Things are the way they are because they're the way they are. Surgeon Sparks went straight up as well. I think that's at like 150, 160 now. That hasn't had the same level of vitriol that Prismatic Evolutions has. I mean, I don't know, what more can you say about it, guys? That's just where I am with it. The people that complain about MSRP haven't paid MSRP for the last probably 2 years now that we've been in the Scarlet and Violet era, apart from maybe 151. It's a harsh reality, and it's easy for a store to say this is the way it is, and it's also easy for a customer to say this is the way it is when a bad set comes out. It swings and roundabouts. Personally, I'd rather have MSRP for every single set that ever came out, ever, and we keep it at that, because I think long term for stores that'd be much better. I'd have been much better off selling an Obsidian Flame at £140 a box, and Prismatic Evolutions at £50 a box. You know, it swings and roundabouts at the end of the day, and you save money there, and you've spent more money here. That's the way that the market goes in collectibles, unfortunately, and you see it across the route for toys, cards, limited drops of stuff, that anything that comes out, shoes, anything that's collectible is in the market, is priced by the market, and it always will be like that. It always has been like that, for singles, for sealed, and for so on. At the end of the day, you can't sell a booster box for 140 quid if the market price is 110. It's just not going to happen. And that's why Pokemon Center have had booster boxes, Sword and Shield booster boxes on their website for the last couple of years, because the booster box prices hadn't hit that 140, 150 range yet. As soon as they hit that 150, boom, people just start buying them from Pokemon Center, because they know that there's going to be no weirdness. There's going to be no, they can get a sealed case if they order 6, stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't got any more for you. Be safe out there. Try not to be too emotional about Prismatic Evolutions. It is what it is, right? And I think as well, another thing, and I'm going to make a separate video about this, but there's a sort of a myth among, you're lying to yourselves as well, right? That people don't want expensive singles. People do. You can see by the excitement of Prismatic Evolutions how excited people are at the prices on some of these cards. Oh, the Master Ball's going to be this much. The Umbreon SIR is going to be this much. And people do want it. That is what we're showing now. We're seeing it right now in front of our very eyes. Scarlet and Violet base set, Obsidian Flame, Paldea Evolved. Those sets had pretty ridiculous hit rates when they first came out, right? Or at least the first Obsidian Flame and base set did. And people didn't want to buy the boxes. Why didn't they want to buy the boxes? Because you don't want to spend 100 quid on a booster box to pull £6.79's worth of cards. You don't want to do that. So no one buys the boxes, they'd rather just buy the singles. What encourages people to buy boxes is the price of the evolutions. Do you really think people would be paying £80 for an Elite Trainer box if you could buy any of the EV SIRs for under 50 quid? If you could buy any of those Evolution SIRs for under 50 quid or under the price of an Elite Trainer box, no one would be buying Elite Trainer boxes. You'd all be buying the cards on the market. So that's kind of the way it goes. But we're going to do a full video on that, because there's a lot of talk at the moment. We want the price of this card to crash to 0. We want it to crash to 0. I don't understand why would you want your assets to reduce to 0? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I don't know what people are thinking when they talk about this sort of stuff. I think it's just like some sort of, bandwagoning, or look at us, we're like part of the good guys. But at the end of the day, you don't want to spend you don't want to spend £150 on a booster box to pull £5 worth of cards. You don't want to spend 80 quid on a Prismatic Evolution Elite Trainer box and pull a Master Ball trainer card, or something that's just worthless. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Let me know in the comments if you do. If you don't care about the value of your cards, let me know why. And let me know how much Shrouded Fable you bought. Let me know how much Obsidian Flames you bought when it first came out. But yeah, that's all I've got, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new here. Like it, share it, and all that sort of stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about what I've said. Does it ring true, or am I talking shit?